Yo. What's going on in my sports junkies, my four lifers, the diehards, and the sad little people whose team ain't never won a damn thing? Welcome to all my listeners, whether you're watching on YouTube or audio only. This is another episode of Break The Huddle podcast. I'm your humble host, Don Deuce. And look, listen, we keep it real around here. We'll previewing the NFL week, previewing a little bit of basketball, previewing a little bit of college football, see what's going on in the world, but we're going to get right into it, all right? Come on, man. Don't worry about nothing. Settle in, grab your jersey, and let's break the fucking huddle. Who got my back? Who got my back? I got your back. Who got my back? I got your back. Who got that swerve? I got that swerve. All right, people. Today is Thursday, but y'all gonna see this on Friday. So wake up with us, you know what I'm saying? I got my boy Johnny Flash. He's on audio. You're not gonna see him, but he's in the background. He's gonna be listening with us. He's gonna be talking with us. He's gonna be chiming in every once in a while. But yeah, we gotta get into it, man. This is super critical, super serious stuff this week. There's a lot of interesting matchups going on in the NFL that I'd like to just pinpoint. We're not talking about everything, but it's just some games that we got to cover. Just some games that I think that you might want to watch out for, you might want to look out for, just because just the way that these teams have been playing, the ebbs and the flows, and I mean, you might call me biased, but hey, just wait for it. All right, man, look, first game is out of the 1 p.m. games, man, on Sunday. We got a couple NFL 1 p.m. games. We got Chiefs versus the Browns. Now, this game is super interesting, man, because the Browns have gone 2-1 in their last 3 home games, all against playoff level competition. You know what I'm saying? Defeating the Steelers and the Ravens, but then losing to the Chargers. So this is one of those sneaky games. And then you got the Kansas City Chiefs. They're sitting at 12-1, but they don't necessarily look like a 12-1 team. And why don't they look like a 12-1 team? I'll tell you, because the Kansas City Chiefs, they only average 23.7 points per game. That's 11 in the NFL. So that's basically middle of the pack. Once you're outside the top 10, now you're in the middle of the pack. But then they give up 19.4. That means all their games are close. That means they're always a fucking nail biter. Well, not always, but if you look at the recent weeks would tell you that it's a nail biter. And Patty hasn't really been playing his best brand of football. As we are approaching the end of the season, that's usually the time you want to start seeing some of the best football from your franchise quarterback. So we keep seeing these offensive struggles, but luckily for the Kansas City Chiefs, Hollywood Brown has just been cleared to practice. I mean, you're not going to see him this Sunday. That'll be a major pickup, well, major get back for the Kansas City Chiefs to add to that interesting wide receiver unit, because DeAndre Hopkins, he's doing his best. I mean, he's not killing, but he's doing his best. And
what are your predictions for the Chiefs, sir?
My predictions for the Chiefs,
for the playoffs specifically, how far do you see them going?
Oh man, I would probably say, I'll be honest, I don't know. The Chiefs are hard. The Chiefs are hard to really predict because of Patty Mahomes and that witchcraft they got brewing out of that Arrowhead Stadium. It's just something about that team that makes people panic. It's something about that team. Well, when I say people panic, I mean like their opponents. It makes them drop the ball. Like something about the Kansas City Chiefs and their belief that they're going to just win every game. That's Patty's best. That's his best like kept secret. And that's maybe not a secret, but it's
you want to know. You don't want to know what I think, man.
What?
And I've been saying this, and you've heard me say this for a long time since the season started. The Chiefs are frauds, right? What are they? Their record is about what 10-1 right now, or we're in week 14, so it might be like 12-1, something like that, right? I believe, right, that the Chiefs are very unprepared for they're going to play in that first round, because we all know they're going to get a bye that first weekend, so they're not going to play that first round. So whoever they play in the semifinals,
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to want to see that team. And I say that because the Chiefs haven't really faced any adversity. Yes, their team is kind of injury riddled with Schuster, Brown going down, Pacheco going down, but they've managed to win despite all of those things happening to them. And so they haven't really had to face reality yet. Reality hasn't really hit them yet because they're still winning games. And so they think that, well, as long as we're winning games, things are okay. But I think they're gonna face a team that first game that they play in the playoffs that they don't really want to see, and they're gonna get bounced out. And I don't want to hear, oh, well, they were injured the whole season, so this was bound to happen. Nah, man, that Chiefs magic, I don't believe in that.
Bro, every time you think that the magic ran out, Patty's just gonna throw a little bit more sauce on you, bro. Come
Now,
on now.
honestly, bro, I think there's a few teams that I believe that are just generally better than the Chiefs. Like they're just overall team is built better currently.
Yeah, of
I would,
course.
I would say the Steelers, the
Hold on,
Vikings.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. We going down. We going down. The list of games. Don't even trip, buddy. Don't even trip. All
I'm just
right.
naming teams that I think will beat them when it
Of
comes down to it.
of course. Look, listen. The Chiefs. The Chiefs are 3-3 against the spread on away games. So that should tell you. That should tell you a little bit of how they're playing this season. And they've gone 5 straight games without winning by more than 3 points. So that's what I mean by the margin of victory is slim. They've been just grinding out these games and but grinding out these games to teams that they should be winning 7 points. They should be they should be in control, but they're just not. And it just hasn't clicked all the way for that offense. And we're just waiting and waiting to see them string together like a good some good offensive games, but we have yet to see that from Patrick Mahomes and company. I don't know, man. Andy Reid got to get his boys together. Look, after that 1 p.m. game, this game is interesting. Just I would say this game is interesting for betting purposes. Maybe not to sit down and watch, ladies and gentlemen, but for my hometown guys, we got the Ravens versus Giants. Now the Ravens, they are almost a 16-point favorite in this game, and you should expect them to clear. But there's just something about the Giants every once in a while. It's like you might stomp on them, or they might just try really hard. I don't know what it is. So, but something that tells me about this gigantic, well, at least I think this is a gigantic spread. That the Giants might sneak one in. They might sneak in there, and they might cover. But you didn't hear that from me. But in this game, look, the Ravens are looking to bounce back from their loss to the Philadelphia Eagles, and they're coming off this bye. Hopefully they get their act together, because a lot of people are a little bit concerned about that Ravens defense. When you look at that Ravens defense, look, the Ravens are the 23rd scoring defense in the NFL. Like, they give up a lot of points. They give up a lot of points, and they're in the bottom. They're in the bottom half in yardage, giving up 347 yards per game on defense. That is not a recipe for a team that you project or hope to see in the AFC Championship and eventually the Super Bowl. That doesn't seem like winning a winning formula when they can't seem to figure out their keys on defense. They can't figure out how to stop a nosebleed. A lot of wide receivers are having good days on them, and they need to find ways to correct that instantly. But now a lot of people have been talking because the Ravens are definitely going to win this game because they are 3-1 after a loss this season against the spread. And now, but offense and defense, like I just said, is really night and day. But the big thing coming out of this week is Derrick Henry. Now I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Derrick Henry did a whole 180. Bro cut off his dreads. I'm actually concerned. I'm actually concerned for Derrick Henry right now because I don't know too many players that do a full on. I don't know too many players that do a full on look change in the middle of the season. I'm a superstitious guy. I played football. A lot of you guys probably watching played football. Tell me whenever you ever seen a player do a full look change. I know guys that'll keep their whole fucking beard for the entire season before they even think about cutting it off because that's just bad. The team is doing good. That's good energy. You can't fuck that up. But of course, Derrick Henry did by doing this. Take a look. What is Derrick Henry doing? My boy got break. All I want is money, fuck the fame. I'm a simple man. Mr. International player with the passport. I'm not even hating, but come on. And Shorty showed this shit, and he didn't even have a clean cut. So it didn't look. Call me a hater, but this ain't it, bro. This ain't it. And this game against the Giants, if he doesn't do good, just throw the whole season away. I'm that superstitious. If Derrick Henry doesn't have a good game versus the Giants, and I mean a beast game, you can look, kiss the season goodbye because they ain't making it far. That's facts. Look, but moving on to the next game. This game is also important. This is coming out of the 1 o'clock window. Oh my God, I lost it. Oh my God. For our next game, this game is a little bit interesting. The Bengals versus Titans. Now, I already checked. The Bengals have a 3% chance of making the playoffs. And if they want to even have that chance, they got to continue to win these games. And then you look at it, and their issues are similar to the Ravens, but the difference is the Ravens are winning their games. The Bengals have this night and day offense and defense, while they have one of the premier offenses in the NFL. Joe Burrow leads the league in yards. He has 33 touchdowns to just 6 interceptions. You got Jamar Chase. He's hunting the Triple Crown right now.
Yes, sir.
Jamar Chase is hunting the Triple Crown after you just seen Cooper Kupp do it. Just a few seasons ago. He's over here. He's really he's elevated his play after crying out for a new contract this past offseason. And this team just cannot figure it out on defense because this defense is literally one of the worst defenses in the NFL. It actually don't get any much worse than a defense like the Bengals. And that's the major problem here.
Yeah, they're giving up over 400 yards of total offense to any opposing offense when it comes every Sunday. Like it's really ridiculous. And I feel bad for Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, like especially the offense as a whole, they're going out there every Sunday, playing their hearts out, probably playing the best brand of football offensively that the league has seen in a while. And I feel like the season is being wasted because every time the offense does what it has to do, the defense comes on the field and kind of like, you know, it messes up the flow of things, and the offense has to bail them out every time. Like the offense gets no rest because the defense goes 3-0 every time. It's ridiculous.
That's a fact, bro. Look, they they might. The crazy thing is, they might lose Jamar Chase. They might lose him.
Now they're gonna lose Higgins for sure. Jamar Chase is gonna resign. He's staying.
You think so?
If the Bengals want to keep Burrow happy, they're gonna keep Chase for sure. They can afford to let Higgins go. They can always groom somebody else. There's a guy there, Andre. I forgot his last name, but
Andre Yoshivas
he's a good
out
understudy.
of Princeton.
He's good. He's not as good as Higgins, but he can step up to the plate. Because if Higgins leaves, somebody does need to fill that number 2 role.
I like Yoshivas. I actually think Yoshivas is actually I think he's really good. He's just not gonna get the same amount of looks. He's you know what I'm saying?
That he's gonna be the next man up if Higgins leaves.
Of course, and they already lost Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, they lost Tyler Boyd.
See, you can't see what's going on the screen right now, but for the people watching, look, we got rumors already swirling coming out. Look, all you got to do is create a Twitter account and follow all the sports accounts, man. I'm telling you, you want to listen to the BS. If you want to listen to the BS, you want to like follow all the rumors out there, because Jamar Chase has been linked to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Whoa.
And they are one of the co-favorites to land the superstar wide receiver if he leaves Cincy next year. Pittsburgh has actively targeted top receivers recently and is expected to continue this in the offseason. All right. Everybody knows that the Cincinnati Bengals has a history of being cheap. Everybody knows that. And Jamar Chase contract dispute should already tell you that they're being cheap. The players report that came out, that the players yearly survey that comes out every year should tell you, and that ranked the Cincinnati Bengals facilities poor, the locker room bad. That should already tell you that they're a winning franchise, but they with poverty mentality. And I mean, it looks like they stopped winning, so the poverty is just all over the place.
Oh yeah, let me add one more thing. That head coach, Zach Taylor, he's gotta go. I don't care how they end the season, but when the offseason comes, Zach Taylor, the head coach of the Bengals, has to go. His play calling all year has been atrocious.
You jacking that?
Yes, 100%. He's got to go. It's time.
Respect. It is time. They do need a new face in there.
And for the past, since Joe Burrow has been there, every season to start the season, they always start off slow. It's like they're not prepared in the off season.
I mean, I really do attribute that to, I mean, yes, every year, but like this particular season, I attribute that to some of the contract dispute. I attribute that to just the way that people don't play preseason games, the way that a lot of guys are just not ready in the beginning of the season. It's almost like those first 3 weeks are like preseason games
for them,
and it takes away from the the product. It really does. The fact that guys don't really play in the preseason takes away from the product, and I'm trying to figure out who it really does a disservice to, because I'm sure it does a disservice to the NFL consumer, to fans like us, because we're watching bad football, and then it's hard to figure out what the solution would be, just because the overall fear that they have for
Okay.
getting hurt in the preseason.
Yeah, which
But
is understandable.
you need some of that game speed. You need some of that intensity to get you ready for the real game. So it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to figure out, for sure. But yeah, we got to move on, man. For look, see, I'll be losing my place, Johnny. Look, going into the NFL 4 p.m. games, we got a big game. This, to me, is one of the biggest games of the week. This is one of the most interesting games of the week, because this is a potential Super Bowl matchup, if we're being honest. And that's the Buffalo Bills versus the Detroit Lions. This game is going to be super intense. And they got Detroit Lions as a 2.5 point favorite over the Bills. And if it's up to me, if you ask me, I think this is going to be a thriller. I think this is going to be one of those games that it's going to take everybody, it's going to take everybody's talent, every ounce of talent, to get the fuck out of this game. Like, this is not going to be a boring game by any stretch, because you got Josh Allen, who's the current MVP, and he has to go into the Lions Den. He has to go into the Lions Den. He has to raise the talent level of everybody around him, as he does. This is no glaze either. Josh Allen has played like the MVP favorite. He's not my MVP, if you ask me, but he is leading the race at minus 400. And then when you look at the Bills are 4-3 on the road. So they do struggle when they get away from home. They do struggle a lot. And they just suffered a road loss just last week in a nail biter, a thriller. But they had to play a lot of catch, because they got behind real late. So I don't expect them to fall behind by so much early, but I do believe that they're going to come a little bit more prepared than they were against the Rams, because when you look at it, the Lions, they're banged up. That defense has a lot of injuries on it. They're signing guys off the street. They just signed Jamal Adams. They have struggled on that defensive line to create a lot of pressure. So you know what that means when you struggle to create a lot of pressure, you got to bring a little bit more guys. You got to blitz more. But then when you think about it, this season, Josh Allen has thrown 14 touchdowns against the blitz this season. That might work in the Bills' favor. You want to send the house? All right, let them
This
come.
this game this game for me, it just depends on which Josh Allen is going to show up, because although the Lions defense has some holes in it, overall they're still one of the top defensive teams in the league, and so they're gonna apply pressure to Josh Allen and the crew. And so if Josh Allen can't get into rhythm, if he can't get his passes to Coleman and get Khalil Shakur going, he's gonna have a long day. Is that at the 4 p.m. game, right?
Yep, it's 4 p.m. game, man. It's
4
it's
4
right in the
p.m.
middle of
game.
the day.
I could see the Lions jumping out the gate, you know, pushing it to a 14-0 start halfway through, and just creating that pressure for Josh Allen to try to climb his way out of a hole early. I feel like that's how the game is going to start off. It's going to be a lot of catching up going on. St. Brown is probably going to go off. Like you said, this is a potential Super Bowl matchup, and so I think both teams are definitely going to try to bring their A game in. So we're going to
Mm-hmm.
see which team really is ready for the playoff and potentially for the Super Bowl.
For sure, man. They got this. They got the total at 54. They got the total at 54 and a half. That's a high scoring game. By the way that the Lions run the football and they like control the clock, they run the football and they get down the field. It's a little bit of controlling the clock, but they get down the field in a hurry. So just watch out for that game. I would take the points. I would take Detroit -2.5, and or I would take the over on 54.5. I think a lot of points is coming out of this game, y'all. But if we look, moving on to the next game, we got the Eagles versus the Steelers. This game is also a big game because a lot of these teams are trying to make statements. Now, for the Steelers, they're about to get into more divisional play in the coming weeks. So you kind of want to use this as a litmus test. You want to see where you really are. You want to see how you respond to a really good defense in the Philadelphia Eagles. But this one, they might struggle a little bit. And when I say a little bit, it's a toss-up because George Pickens might not be available this weekend. You have no Pickens to stretch the field. It'd be a little bit more easy for the Philadelphia Eagles to keep those receivers in front of them because they're not worried about somebody stretching the field. They're not worried about those deep ball threats. Now, are these other guys going to step up? Does Russell Wilson help these guys elevate? I don't know. Hopefully, that's why we'll see. This game is super interesting to me. And then when I told you guys that Josh Allen wasn't my MVP pick, guess who is? I really do think Saquon Barkley is the MVP of the league. He is running the Philadelphia Eagles into success. No matter what Jalen Hurts does, Saquon Barkley is running them into success. That is like the definition of impact. Barkley has 266 carries and over 1,600 yards. He only has 11 touchdowns. But I seen a crazy stat the other day that said Saquon Barkley has been tackled at the 1-yard line like 11 times or 12 times. But Jalen Hurts has 10 of those touchdowns. I thought that was wild. Let's just say hypothetically, you add another 10 to Barkley, that would definitely make him way closer in the MVP race. He's at plus 400. He's second behind Josh Allen, but if he had those 10, Jesus Christ. If Barkley had 21 touchdowns going into week 15, that'd be crazy. That would be literally crazy. Now, off the field, when you look at the Eagles and some of their struggles, and you see Jalen Hurts struggling with this passing offense a little bit, and then you see AJ Brown frustrated with the lack of targets, the lack of just everything. He's tired of running cardio. That nigga wants the ball. I don't know what the beef is between Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown is. It seems like Brandon Graham had all the details on this. Let me check this out.
That's complaining need to be accountable. And I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he noticed. I don't know the whole story, but I know that one is trying. And I mean, 11 could be a little better with how he responds to things. And they was friends before this. It's like, man, but things have changed. And I understand that because life happens. But it's the business side that we have to make sure that we don't let the personal get in the way of the business. And that's what we got to do better as right now, because we know it's an issue. Everybody's seeing some things, but we need to be able to talk things out as men. You know what I'm saying? But we need to let personal stuff go and let's get right for this game, because man, it's like a lot of stuff. Most of the time, it's just a conversation that just need to be had. But the person with the problem gotta want to talk to the person other than others. Okay. That's all I'm saying. The person that's
Why the fuck would he say that? if if that's my man's and that's my teammate, why would Brandon Graham say that? Now, I guess I don't have an. Let me rephrase this. You never really have a problem with people being honest, sure, but nigga, who is you to tell my business? Why are you putting more of a spotlight on what is going on? If you really truly want us to work it out and figure it out, you say that to us instead of saying that on a mic. It's just it's a wild time that we're in, man. Like, respect the locker room. What the fuck is Brandon Graham saying all that for? What do you make of Brandon Graham saying that, kind of airing out the real issues between
I think he was trying to get the public to kind of apply pressure to the situation, because a lot of times, you know, these situations you try to resolve them behind closed doors, but if that's not working, you got to resort to other issues. Granted, it is not his business to really tell the world what's going on, but also, you know, there's people like you and myself that play fantasy, and they people fans, just fans in general, are wondering, oh, why is AJ Brown not getting the yards he usually gets? Why is he not getting the targets he usually gets in? If this guy can provide some sort of insight on what's really going on, how public scrutiny really, how it works. Somebody says something, and now the rest of the world is reacting, and they're giving their 2 cents in. And I can promise you that definitely plays a factor in how these athletes, especially, they're on social media, they like to respond back and shoot back at fans, and so they're very aware of what's being said and what's going on. So it could be a plus. And one way to find out if what he's doing is if it is a hindrance or a good thing is if come Sunday we see a difference in AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts play. If we see that these two are in sync and are on the same page on Sunday, that means that what he did was the right thing to do. But if not, then it could be, and if it looks worse, then he could face some backlash.
bro.
So it could go either way.
Bro, if we got shit going on, how could it ever help? How could it ever help for niggas to go out into the media and confirm shit going on?
Because you got to get down with the problem.
No. You want to get down? You talk to me.
But they haven't been talking.
No, if Brandon Graham feels away, Brandon Graham should talk to his geysers and figure that out. That's what it is. Don't get into the media and talk about what we got going on in the locker room.
I want to know what's going on.
No, nigga, you nosy.
I am.
You nosy. That's
me and you are media. We know this.
No. Don't give me that. Look, because this show right here is by a fan for the fans. But I myself played sports before, and there are just some things that I'm sure that niggas don't want people worrying about, because now he because he doesn't say what the real issue is, because he doesn't really truly know what the real issue is. So now you got niggas speculating, or maybe niggas come, the internet, they'll come up with any scenario. I don't need to be reading none of that. I don't need to be reading made up scenarios or whatever of how somebody thinks about how I should be dealing with my quarterback. I don't know. He was out of bounds for that. He was out of bounds.
This way. He did that, and by doing that, he's creating a narrative. Like you said, people are going to come up with their own ideas. And the best way to combat negative press is by creating good press, which means on Sunday they better ball out. That way, the only thing they can talk about is how they turn things around.
I mean, hopefully that one of them is the bigger man and just say, hey, brother, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Like, if I did you wrong, I'm sorry. Da 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 da. This, that, and the third. Like, they're gonna figure it out because apparently AJ Brown is the god, is like the godfather to his daughter, to AJ Hurts, to Jalen Hurts' daughter, or it might be the other way around. Either way, they got a relationship. We know that. Like, that's why I feel like it's wrong for Brandon Graham to have highlighted that, because this could just be two brothers kind of working through some kinks, man. You know, people be beefing. Niggas be beefing. It is what it is. But when he said it publicly, it just put a bigger light on it. That's all it did. That's really some of my most interesting games this weekend, just to watch. You still got Sunday Night Football with the Packers, but other than outside of that, there's not really too many more crucial games that I feel like you probably want to check into. So those games that I mentioned are some games that you probably want to make some parlays with, you know what I mean? But just to get out of this, we got to go a little bit into college football. It has recently been reported that Bill Belichick is going to be the new head coach at UNC, and I actually like the move. Some people think it's a downgrade. Some people think he's not gonna be good at it. But I actually think that he's so smart than some of these other college coaches that he's going to have to adjust to is how to relate to the kid. How is he going to relate to kids? How is he going to relay his message to the kids? And that is like my only issue or just worry about this. Like, look at this, man. Look at this guy. Bill Belichick. You see what's going on. Welcome to Chapel Hill. Bill Belichick, the 8-time Super Bowl champion, has officially been named our next UNC football head coach. Johnny, I read that their NIL went from $4 million to $20 million. And when you up your NIL to 20 million, that is the clear sign that you want to play. You want to play with the big boys and you want to compete. And I think in order to land Bill Belichick, they had to exercise and show that we're serious. We're not trying to bring you here for optics. We're actually bringing you here to win some games. Now, is he going to win in the first year? Probably not. It'll probably be more like a Deion Sanders type of situation. Rough first year. And then that second year, you'll see a lot of improvement. I really do like this move. What do you think, Johnny?
Bill Belichick has history there at UNC. I also feel like he was kind of just itching to really get back into coaching. Obviously, he was doing a good job with the broadcasting thing and just,
he was killing the broadcasting thing. I love watching Bill Belichick on TV.
Him breaking down plays and stuff like that. You can just see that, number one, he knows what he's talking about, and two, he still understands the game, even as the game evolves, into current times. As for the him being able to not just relate to the kids, but being able to coach a younger crop of younger talent, I feel like he's going to take the Nick Saban route. Nick Saban is of that elder statesman where he had to, do things his way, and I think Belichick he's probably gonna do a mixture of both. Like, there's the players coaches, and then there's the coaches that are just, the X and O's kinds of coaches, and what I say goes. I think he's gonna give you a little bit. He's still gonna be him. He's still gonna be Bill Belichick and still give you the raw, and maybe not be as emotional and not really say too much. But when it comes down to coaching, I know a lot of those players understand and respect that he's one of the GOATs when it comes to this, and they know that he knows what he's talking about. So even if he's not as young and not as hip to what they've got going on, he's gonna be able to get through to them in some way of another.
Yeah, bro. What's a better talking point than Hi, I'm Bill Belichick, and I can get your kid to the NFL. What's a better selling point right there? You're not here to fuck around. I'm going to turn you into a pro. I'm going to turn you into a quality football player, and we're going to make this and we're going to make this happen. I think that is like one of the top selling points. And then when you add money with that, I don't see how a lot of people say no to that. And then when you look at the landscape of the ACC, hey, why not go? Why not? I got a road to the NFL. I'm getting NIL money. And the ACC is, well, not the SEC. It's a little bit thinner. Who you got to worry about? SMU right now. Potentially you got to worry about Syracuse in the talent that they have. But with Kyle McCord probably leaving, you'll see Syracuse kind of die back down. And then you got SMU and Clemson. After seeing ACC put two teams into the college football playoffs this season, I think the future is genuinely bright for UNC. And I think they'll probably make some noise right off the bat because he's gonna hire a staff that is overly knowledgeable. I don't know, man. After watching him on TV for a year, I think if he brings what he has displayed to the people on TV, and then he mixes that with football, I think Bill Belichick is actually a likable guy, in my opinion. That's just me.
He is. He doesn't really. I think honestly, as he gets older, he's probably trying to just display that a little bit more. He wasn't able to as a coach in New England. I feel like now it's just he's able to be more relaxed. He's stress free. Hopefully, he can still bring that same kind of energy into this new coaching gig.
Facts. This weekend, it looks like it's Heisman weekend, man. And my Heisman favorite is Travis fucking Hunter. A lot of people like Ashton Jeanty. I'm sure nobody really likes Dylan Gabriel or Cam Ward, but hey, they were really good players. But Travis Hunter is really one of them. The case for Ashton Jeanty, to me, is just not big enough. And it's not big enough because of just his competition. I'm sorry. Now, I'm not gonna hit you guys with a bunch of facts. This is really just emotion. There's no facts here. Some of it is facts, but I'm telling you this just off of emotion. I'm telling you this off of eye tests. And to me, every Saturday I watch Travis Hunter. Shut down a whole side of the field. And and even that was interesting because I just watched an interview and how he spoke about how one of his favorite cornerbacks of all time was Richard Sherman. And I'm like, man. And I've also seen them go back and forth, share conversations, and so on and so on. So he does give me a little bit of, not maybe in terms of the certain physicality that Richard Sherman had, but just maybe an IQ and play recognition. Those are just some things that you can't always teach. And Travis Hunter just has some of that secret sauce, man. Even on the offensive side, I'm not going to hit you guys with that idea that, oh, it's just snap. Look at all the snaps he plays. I don't give a fuck about all the snaps he plays. Look at the shit that he does. I'm talking one-on-ones. Shedeur Sanders is throwing this man back shoulder fades. He's catching it at his ankles. He's catching it with people all draped all over him. He's making plays. And I'm not saying that Ashton Jeanty isn't, but I think your level of competition has to come into play. And no matter what you say, the talent in the Big 12 is indeed better than the talent in the Mountain West Conference, where Ashton Jeanty plays. He ran all over them. And I don't want to take away from those players in that conference, but come on. Let's be real. Let's be honest. And I know a lot of people like to say, "Oh well, if you put Jeanty on Colorado, they would have been in the playoffs." Sure, maybe, but that's not what we're judging. We're judging the body of work, and what Ashton Jeanty is doing is not unprecedented. It's not. We've seen guys do it before. We've seen guys do it before and not win the Heisman. This ain't nothing new. I would compare this Travis Hunter season in basketball terms. I would compare this Travis Hunter season to Russell Westbrook the first year with no KD. The shit that he was doing was, you could tell me if I'm crazy, Johnny. The shit that Russell Westbrook was doing was out of this world. Out of this world. But they only ended up maybe 5th in the West. They weren't one of the top teams in the West, but he averaged a triple-double. Shit that we ain't seen since Oscar Robertson. We never seen it.
Travis Hunter for Heisman, man.
We never fucking seen it, Johnny.
I was just keep it short and sweet.
Hold on. I'm not fucking done. Because Ashton Jeanty, we seen that shit before. We seen Melvin Gordon do it. I actually liked it better when Melvin Gordon did it. Want to know why I liked it better when Melvin Gordon did it? At least he did it in the Big Ten. At least he did it in the Big Ten against Comp. I seen Melvin Gordon really give niggas the business. Come on, gang. You got Ashton Jeanty running all over Wyoming. Come on, gang. What you saying, John?
But yeah, what Travis Hunter has been doing the past 2 years is nothing short of amazing. And I think what really makes him special is his commitment to playing both positions. Like, nobody's forcing him to do it. You know, nobody's asking him to do it. He's taking the work upon himself to do both sides and excel on both sides of the ball. And so it looks like this is something that he wants to continue as he makes his way into the NFL as well. And so with that being said, there's a reason why he's a Heisman candidate. The things that he's been doing, people see it as once in a lifetime kind of talent. Some people may even call it generational talent, right?
Absolutely.
How many players have come into the league, you know, excelling on both sides of the ball? It doesn't really happen a lot. I think the last person to do that,
nobody, bro. I mean, the last person to do it, the last person that was really playing wide receiver in defensive back was Deion. Miles Jack did it, but when he got to the league, he never played running back ever.
Yeah, man.
Miles Jack from UCLA played linebacker and running back. He was killing, but not to this degree, bro. Not to this.
One thing I like about Travis is that he's not really cocky. Like, he talks his stuff, but for the most part, he's a laid back guy, and he just puts the work in
until he hits that fucking Heisman pose.
Hell yeah!
Then you really think he's cocky.
Then you think he's cocky, but then at that point, when he's hitting the pose, he's put the work in. He's already 200 yards up, 3 touchdowns in. He's not doing it, first quarter of the game, just doing a 20-yard play or a 50-yard catch. No, he's doing it after the work is already done.
That's a fact.
So yeah,
come on, man. Like I'm tired. I'm just tired of these people campaigning for Jeanty. A lot of people, niggas in my comments was jacking Jeanty, bro. They was on Jeanty body. Look,
you have to.
But something tells me that's more anti-Colorado than it is pro Jeanty.
Nah, at this point of Colorado's, ascendance, there's no I won't say there's no anti Colorado anymore, but you're hearing less and less of, oh, Colorado can't do this, Colorado can't do that. Their record speaks for themselves. The talent that they brought to the team speaks to themselves, and they've changed the culture over there. So people can't say, oh, people used to say, oh, Colorado's offensive line suck. Well, this year it looks like they've gotten extremely better. You know what I
That's a
mean?
fact.
Fedora taking steps to, increase his pocket awareness. He's staying in the pocket more, taking hits, but he's also making those passes that a lot of QBs wouldn't make. And so,
Yeah, Shador's a beast,
overall,
bro.
overall, that Colorado team is just better than it was last year. They've taken the steps to get better and to grow as a team.
We got to take a look into this college football playoff bracket, man. This bracket is a little bit interesting because these first round games, you got Tennessee at Ohio State, you got Clemson at Texas, you got Indiana going into Notre Dame, and then you got SMU going to Penn State. These are some interesting matchups. If I have to choose just the teams getting out of the first round, the two best games are the Big Ten games because I like SMU and I think SMU is sneaky good. I really do think SMU is not Indiana. Now, Indiana, I actually have no faith in the Hoosiers. No, you cannot control who you play, but at the first sign of resistance when they played Ohio State, they got their ass handed. I'm talking belt to ass, Johnny. Belt to ass. I don't think Indiana makes it past Notre Dame, but I do believe Ohio State is going to beat Tennessee, and I do believe let's see. I'll take Penn State over SMU, but I do think that's going to be I think it's going to be a close game. People who think Penn State is just going to roll over SMU, you're probably mistaken right there. Quinn Ewers in Texas, they'll take care of Clemson. To what degree, I don't know, because Dabo and his boys, they don't just lay down, they don't roll over, and they don't just take it. They're going to fight back. You've seen Clemson go up against SEC competition in Georgia. If you remember that game early, that was the first game of the season. Clemson was holding on. They played them real tough in that first half, and it kind of let the game slip away in that third quarter, that second half, and Georgia really came out in that second half and stunned them. But I do believe Clemson got that talent to keep up and hold up with an SEC team like Texas. I think Georgia has a path, has another path to the finals. It's that other side of the bracket it's the other side of that bracket that is,
yeah, it's a little iffy.
That's a little iffy because my thing is Ohio State's, let's say my scenario goes through, right? Ohio State beats Tennessee. Now Ohio State has to go to Oregon, right? Oregon beat Ohio State by a few points. It was a close game. It was a hard-fought game, but they came out on top. Now, do I believe Ohio State would lose to Oregon again? I don't know. I don't think so. But a lot of people are losing faith in that head coach, Ryan Day, in Ohio State after losing to Michigan. That's probably not the best way to end your season, especially when Michigan is a dog shit team. But hey, I'm excited for the college football playoffs. I'm interested in these matchups, but I hate where Arizona State is. I think Arizona, whoever comes out of Clemson and in Texas, I think they're going to walk all over Arizona State. I have no faith in Arizona State, and I have no faith in Boise. I'm sorry. I have no faith. I have no faith in the Big 12 champion and the Mountain West champion. They're just not that guy. If I'm being honest, they're just not that guy. But look, man, let's enough of the college football. I need to hear some of these takes, Johnny. We gotta jump into the NBA. The NBA Cup has been going on this week. Teams are trying to get to Vegas. And last night we seen the top two NBA Cup favorites, the two teams.
East, you mean the East?
No. The Knicks. We seen the Knicks lose last night, and we seen the Warriors last night. Two teams that were favorites to go to the NBA Cup Finals, and they both lost. And they both lost. The Knicks losing to the Atlanta Hawks, which is their second loss to the Atlanta Hawks this season, and then the Warriors losing to the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets snapped a 15-game losing streak to the Golden State Warriors last night. And my thing with this is I actually can't believe it. I can't fucking believe it.
I can't believe it either. But I will say this: the Hawks are a very sneaky good team. They have some good young pieces there. I've had my eye on these guys for a little while over the past 2 years, and you know my guy Jalen Johnson. I've been raving about him for a little while now, and he's finally breaking out, coming to his own. I call him uh, the dark version of Sabonis. He's a double machine, but he's also going to get you defensive stats. He gets you blocks and he gets you steals, and so he is a all-star partner that Trey Young could rely on, right? And then you have a guy in Dyson Daniels who is leading the league in steals by a wide margin. Right? I think he has over 70 something steals compared to the next guy who has maybe like 40 or 50 steals. Like this guy averages like 4 steals a game it's a crazy rate what he's doing. And I think he's going to be a NBA defensive team this year as well. Then they have the rookie Zachariah, something like this, or Zacchaeus, something like that.
Zachariah Risher. I don't know.
Him, he's learning the ropes, but looks like he's coming in to his own as well. And then they have DeAndre Hunter, who just came back from injury, but he's been balling since he came back. So they have a young nucleus, and although Trey Young is taking a step back on the scoring splits, he's allowing these young guys to kind of just learn their role, and so they could all gel together as a team. And you saw it yesterday when they played the Knicks. Like Dyson Daniels had Jalen Brunson held under 20 points. That I don't remember the last time that's happened in the game.
No, man. Like speaking of my Knicks, man, the Knicks. That was a tough loss.
Tough.
I think it was a little bit of officiating, but I think it really was just a matchup problem. I think
it was matchup.
It was a bad matchup problem. And when I say a bad matchup is the Knicks are still missing Mitchell Robinson, and a lot of people don't really understand what Mitchell Robinson does. Well, would do, because we actually haven't seen him all season. But what Mitchell Robinson would do for this unit, Mitchell Robinson allows Cat to move to the power forward, and it allows him to kind of free roam a little bit. You know what I mean? He's not the anchor. At the very least, he is not the anchor no more. And you have an athletic big in Mitchell Robinson that can switch, that can move to the paint. He can block a lot of shots. So when you give Cat that assistance, now some of that help defense goes up through the roof. And then that allows, and then with Mitchell Robinson back in the lineup, that may allow Josh Hart to slide back into that second unit. A second unit in which is okay. It's okay when you're getting 20 points out of Cam Payne and McBride, when you're getting points out of at 20 off your bench, but having Josh Hart with that second unit and then mixing them with the starters, I think that creates a lot more flexibility for the Knicks rotations, and it makes them more harder to guard. And you're gonna have to adjust to them rather than you adjusting to your opponent, them adjusting to their opponent. And last night it felt more like they were trying to adjust to the Hawks because, like I said, it was a real matchup problem. Like the length, the Knicks really felt the length of the Atlanta Hawks. Last night they felt the intensity, the defensive intensity that they showed, and like you said, with Jalen Brunson going under 20, that's something new.
And
That is
that's it.
something new. And so did Cat. Cat didn't have a strong offensive performance. I mean, he had a double double. He did. He's gonna be good at the things that he's good at. But 19, Cat had 19 last night. You're not gonna win that way.
No, you can't.
You're
Can't
not
win
gonna
that way.
win. You're not gonna win that way when you hold both of the superstars below their average. A lot
Yep.
of a lot of guys, a lot of defensive guys, a lot of defensive guys aspire to hold guys at their average. They took it a step further and held them below their average. You're not The Knicks can never win that way. They can
What
never
what
win.
what I will say is, I still do see the Knicks as the one team that'll be the contenders to come out the East and contend to beat the Celtics when the time does come in the playoffs for the Eastern Conference Finals. And Trey Young has a personal vendetta when it comes to playing the Knicks, and so that definitely plays a part here. Even though it was a one-off game, I think when it matters, I think the Knicks will step up to the plate and they'll be, way more prepared come playoff time. But
Oh yeah, for sure. I think this will probably be the last time that the Hawks beat them. I think it won't go like this the next time they meet, but right now, the Hawks definitely got the best of the New York Knicks last night. And if we have to look at, and then just to pivot into that Warriors game, if you
yeah,
called it last night, that Warriors game was, I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I think Jalen Green has these struggles, man. He's like on this hot and cold thing. Um, the other day he had 41, then followed it up with like 8 points, and then last night, and in the game, and then after that he had like 20 something, and then last night he only had 12 points. I don't know what it really is going on. I think maybe it's a little bit of shot selection. Some of it was due to, maybe, I want to say, poor officiating. And but in the end, the poor officiating fell into the Rockets' favor.
yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like how that played out.
Of course, because he they called a loose ball. They called a loose ball foul. They called a loose ball foul at a time like that, seconds dwindling off on the
Right.
clock, and where most referees would call that a jump ball, but they called it a. And I didn't really see too many. I didn't really see too much of a foul personally. Steve Kerr was killing them, bro. He did not. He did not like. He did not like what he saw yesterday, for
Yeah, it might have been
sure.
close. I mean those. So I won't say it's a problem, but I do feel like the Warriors need a sidekick for Steph Curry. He doesn't have one as of yet. I know they got Buddy Hield to be the second shooter for him, but like he needs a partner in crime that he could defer to. But for me, honestly, out of the West, I'm always going with my guys, OKC, the young, the young, talented defensive team. Uh, they should be able to close out the NBA Cup and win the cup. But furthermore, I have them coming out the West and winning the finals this year, man. The OKC is my pick to come out and win the finals. Shea is looking like an MVP candidate. You got you got Lou Dort looking like a defensive player of the year, and Chat is down right now, but they actually just inserted I Hartenstein from the Knicks, that piece that they picked up from the Knicks in the
He's
trade.
killing.
He is killing.
He's
He's
killing.
what they needed.
And it's
Last
scary.
year,
It's scary because when Chet comes back,
woo!
he's still gonna be Isaiah Hartenstein. So
It's
then
gonna,
you have to add whatever Chet does on top of Hartenstein, and that's I ain't never seen white boys go crazy. I wouldn't. You ain't never seen white boys go crazy like that. They about to bring back some of that old NBA.
yeah, you know they're the
Them
number one.
them two white boys gonna bring back some of that old hard nosed white, and like, you know what I'm saying, those like the Larry Bird and
Yeah.
the Kevin McHale's. I mean, that was before our time, but
I've heard that the the Thunder's pardon me, the Thunder are one of the few teams that actually play. They do a lot of mid range. They play with their back to the basket. Like
yes,
they're
they
old.
do not. They are not copycats. They have
Yeah,
a play style that they like to do. And the only real difference that you see in OKC, for those who don't get a chance to watch a lot of OKC games, you see Shea this season taking more threes. He's not shooting a bunch, but he's taking the open shots because on the scouting report they leave him open.
yep.
They're leaving him open. Not and then kind of not just open, but they don't contest all the time. But I'm seeing him shoot it at a decent clip and a decent enough for you have to respect him.
And you know um who's really getting that respect that I think he finally deserves. He's having another breakout year to himself. Is Jalen Williams. That
Oh
guy,
yeah, of course. It's top five.
he's playing. He's defending all five positions. When Chet went down, they put him in the center position, and he did so well at that. Like he's been excelling. His defensive stats have been going up. He's second in steals, and he's a all defensive player of the year himself as well. So just that team, the way, and that team is it's homegrown. A lot of his draft
Oh
picks.
yeah, of course.
So
Shit's
like
fire. What they doing? But
they they step
adding
it up.
Caruso and adding Hartenstein
Yes. Woo.
was out of this world. Out of this world pickups. But look, moving on, man. You got me stuck on OKC. We wasn't even supposed to be talking about them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look, man, recently, not even recently, it's really been a downward a downward spiral. And when I say a downward spiral, I really mean a downward spiral. And now the NBA has really run into a issue. And I don't care what they say. I don't care what they say, but NBA viewership continues to decline, man. NBA NBA Cup viewership down 10%. ESPN viewership down 28%. And this past playoffs, viewership was down 12%. And a lot of people like to point to half the league's fans can't watch their teams play without buying packages outside of basic cable. But I will attribute a multitude of things to the NBA viewership, man. One of my biggest, I've seen Shaq say it, but I really do think it's obvious. A lot of people like to point to, oh, they're streaming the games, and that's why it's not. They're illegally streaming the game, so that's why the viewership looks like that. And I believe it's more because I'm a guy that used to stream a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a fan. Like I said, this is a podcast by a fan for the fans. So yeah, nigga, I'm on Stream East. I was watching all the games. I was doing 5, 6 tabs. Had them all. I was watching all the fucking games. And but I do think it's an interesting the league is a copycat league right now. Coaches don't nobody dares to be different. Nobody dares to attack the opposition in other ways. They they think the easiest thing to do is just to shoot a bunch of threes. They think the easiest thing to do is to shoot 5 seconds into the shot clock. And that's just such a boring brand of basketball. It's a boring brand of basketball because I thought usually growing up, that was the beauty of basketball. The beauty of basketball was that all these guys can do different things. Like that was the greatest thing. That's the thing that made people like DeMar DeRozan great. You know what I mean? When in his time in Toronto, he's never been a 3-point shooter. He's never been that guy. He's always been a slasher and a mid-range assassin. Like that's always been his game. I'm glad that he actually still in the league, but you don't see a lot of guys like that. That's not how guys are growing up. That's not how guys are playing AAU. That's not how basketball is even being taught at the grassroots level. Um, it's genuinely all just 3-pointers, dunks, and layups.
And
And
I think, bro, they're having an identity issue. They're having a problem marketing, or they have nothing. They don't have anybody to market the game around. And I think that's the issue. That's why they're trying to, come up with all these ideas. Oh, let's partner with the European League. Let's change the All Star game around. They're trying to find ways to like market the game, but they need to find a person. They need to find somebody in the league, a new face of the league, and that's the issue here. If they find that, now they can know what to build their marketability around. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I don't disagree. I remember distinctly Brian Windhorst talking about what he believes that the NBA issue was, and it was the lack of storytelling. They have fallen into relying on just the NBA Twitter discourse to run amok in sports culture, and they don't get ahead of the stories. They don't make people, they don't generate like the interest like they once did, or maybe they never actually knew how to do that and they just relied on the massive star power that people like Steph Curry, KD, and LeBron just carried throughout their careers. But even then, we always knew about LeBron James' story. We knew about Steph Curry's story of being the NBA son, but being wildly overlooked, going to Dayton, turning up in the NCAA tournament, becoming that player that we see today. Like it
that's a fact.
took a journey, you know what I'm saying? And a journey that the NBA followed, and they talked about that. They mentioned that they made sure you knew who he was. And what a lot of guys nowadays they don't really feed us those stories no more. They don't talk to us about who these players are. They don't let us buy in. They don't convince us. And I think, and then when you just let NBA Twitter run amok, it there's not enough discourse. There's genuinely not enough discourse. Oh, we just lost Johnny. I can't believe this. But look, when it comes to that NBA, we they lost it. They don't convince us. They don't do the presentations that they once did when it came to the NBA playoffs. They don't make the stakes. They don't make the stakes feel important. When you looked at that, when you looked at that NBA finals, I didn't even know when the games were on. The NBA finals, I didn't even know when the games were on. I think there's an issue there that we cannot overlook. And the NBA has gotten lazy because you get all this money and you just forget the building blocks in which that got you here, if we're being honest. Like I said, a multitude of things are leading to the NBA viewership decline, but that's definitely one of them ones, if we're being honest. But look, it's been great, y'all. It's been super, super important. I'm glad that my brother Johnny Flash can help lead the conversation. But look, I gotta play my tune. It is what it is. Thank y'all for listening. It's your boy Don Deuce. Let's break the huddle. And I'm out of here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and show some love. Don't forget to follow Break the Huddle on all your favorite platforms. It is what it is. It's a podcast for fans. Bye, fan. I love you. I'm out. Peace, peace, peace.
Who's got my back? Who's got my back? Who's got my back?